YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. Thank you so very much for being here. I am Jody Joe, proprietor to the studio movement. Thank you guys so very much for supporting this channel. Before I get into this movie review for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is spoiler free, by the way, I would like to take this time to thank everybody who has been sponsoring my channel. A lot of people have been showing a tremendous amount of love, and there's no way in the world that I could have predicted that I would get this much love and support from sponsorships. Sponsorships is the end game, and I just wanted to show you guys the tiers of what is going on when you mess around with Jody's Corner sponsors. Here we go, really quick. Levels of the tiers. There's tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tier 4 is where the entry level is at. For $4.99 a month, you get access to a sponsors only live stream. That was today, the last Thursday of the month. You also get access to previous live streams. That's $4.99 tier 4. Everybody enjoys that. Tier 3 for $9.99 a month. It goes up a level. You get all the tier 4 perks plus a weekly trailer reaction request voted by you, reacted by me on the channel. For $24.99 tier 2, you get tier 3 and 4 perks plus you get to vote for any 2 movies for me to watch and review right here on the channel. And the granddaddy of them all, that tier 1, $49.99 a month, you get all the perks, and you get to vote for any one television season for me to watch and review, and you vote for special topics here live on Jody's Corner Monday and Tuesday mornings. It's a tremendous opportunity for you guys to help out the channel, and I thank you guys all for who's been helping this channel out. It's crazy. I'm very grateful. And let's go ahead and get on into the spoiler-free review for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. This film, highly anticipated. If you guys watch my channel, if you guys watch my channel, you know how I feel about this movie. It's a Quentin Tarantino's 9th outing as a director, writer. He is, in my opinion, a legend in Hollywood. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, other people come close, but nobody writes like Quentin Tarantino. And when it comes to a writer-director combo, I'm pretty sure Tarantino's at the top of many folks' lists. And he's out here with his vision for the 1960s tale of a Hollywood adventure that is kind of a true story in a way, but not all the way. Because Tarantino, you know, he likes to put his flares on stuff. So there's a lot of old, nostalgic, classic Hollywood tropes in this movie with some Tarantino flair and style. This follows an actor who is a star in the 50s and 60s who's learning to deal with aging, becoming irrelevant. Him and his bodyguard, who also is his best friend, who has his back at every moment, and he decides to make a shift for his career. And we see basically the antics, we hear and experience the stories, the legends of Hollywood as Tarantino visualizes in his head, and he manifested in this film. I really think that this film should, in my opinion, I feel like this film should have been about something else versus putting in certain historical events from actual history, Hollywood history. I understand that that's one of the real popular feature that's a part of this movie that a lot of people wanted to learn about. And when I heard that Tarantino was doing the Manson story, because when the news broke 2 years ago, Quentin Tarantino's doing the Manson story. Whoa. Are you serious? Like, Tarantino's taking on something like this? But then when the trailer came out and you start to see footage and you kind of see that it's not really as dark, gritty, horrific, suspenseful as I thought it was going to be. And the trailers let me know that. So I don't feel specifically, thank you. I don't feel specifically duped by watching this movie. I really don't. I just feel like the idea of this film is knowing who Quentin Tarantino is and knowing that he was going to tackle a film that involved the Manson story and everyone that's involved with it, the whole entire, cult and all that. That excites me knowing Quentin Tarantino's directing a cult film like that is more exciting to me than the actual film I saw. And I know that that sounds really bad, but it just is what it is. This was a good film. I just want to let you guys know that right now. It's a good film, but there's some things missing from this thing. For instance, Tarantino's signature trademarks that he always usually does in most all of his films. You kind of know you're watching a Quentin Tarantino movie without having to be told you're watching a Quentin Tarantino movie. Dialogue, directional preference. There was a couple of shots that impressed me with the direction, but not many. This is probably the least identifiable Quentin Tarantino movie. I think a lot of Tarantino fans, besides the cast, right? So the cast gives it away, right? You see certain characters pop up in here from the Tarantino verse, because that man's got his own universe when it comes to these movies, and you'll be like, okay, this is a Tarantino film. But if you take those actors out and replace them with anyone else that Tarantino hasn't dealt with before, you wouldn't know that this was a Tarantino movie, because that smart, stylistic, long panned out dialogue scenes that he's really good at don't happen in this movie. They just don't. And that kind of really bummed me. I ain't even gonna lie. I was bummed when I didn't get, you know how Tarantino always got in his films, he always got that scene, you know, that Inglourious Bastard scene, the Django scene, the Pulp Fiction scene, the Reservoir Dogs scene, the Hateful Eight scene. This is nothing like those movies. This is his least Tarantino-ish film. Now, for the people who never really liked Tarantino, this might be your favorite Tarantino movie, keeping it 100. But for me as a Tarantino fan, for his style, his directional style, and his writing technique, this is further off from anything he's ever done. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, but it ain't good, because I come for some Tarantino moments. You know what I'm saying? Slow, long pauses on food. Slow, long pauses on mannerisms. Little mouth action. Just long frame shots of dialogue. And nothing else but just riveting, compelling. There is one scene in this movie that some people will say that is the scene, but it's really not. There's a nice scene with Leonardo DiCaprio that is like, oh, okay, this is cool. Now you're getting somewhere with me. But that's not really enough. I like Leonardo DiCaprio's character. He nailed it in this movie. My God, that man's a fantastic actor. He gets an A+ for his role in this film. Margot Robbie's character was really in the way. You didn't need her at all in this film. At all. And I remember that in a panel, a reporter asked when they were up on stage, why, Quentin, why did Margot have such a small, meaningless role? And then Quentin was like, nah, I ain't going to go there with you. He shut him off. Quentin Tarantino be shutting reporters down left and right. But I'm actually going to go ahead and side with that reporter on this one, Quentin, bro. I got to keep it 100, man, because I'm rolling with her, bro. She didn't need to be in this. She had a meaningless role. Margot Robbie didn't need to be in this movie. She was wasted. Margot Robbie was wasted in this film. You could have. It's such a bad role. I'm shocked that she took it, because it doesn't really do anything for her. It doesn't do anything for her catalog, except for saying that I was in a Quentin Tarantino movie. But you weren't good in it. You didn't have a substance. You didn't have any. And I feel bad for Margot. And maybe I shouldn't feel bad for her, because she's getting work, and it's a prestigious role because it's Tarantino with Leo and Brad Pitt. Maybe that's why she took it. Leo, Brad Pitt, Tarantino. Freak. You got to kind of, Al Pacino, among many others, you kind of got to jump on that. So I guess I understand why she took it, but I'm just saying that this is not, I, Tanya, than this. Man, she was better as Harley Quinn in freaking Suicide Squad than this, man. It's crazy, man. I really don't understand why she didn't really need to be in this film. And you guys, when you guys see it, you kind of will understand where I'm coming from with that. As far as Brad Pitt is concerned, well, once again, he reminds me why he is also one of my favorite actors working in Hollywood today. Brad Pitt is fantastic in this movie as well. You really feel for his character, man. He really shows bros before hoes. He really shows what it's like to have a friend. And because I got friends myself, it really warmed my heart to see how much affinity and love that Brad Pitt's character had for Leonardo DiCaprio's character, man. I really love camaraderie. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt have amazing chemistry, and I think that they need to do more films in the future. This was a long time coming. Two juggernaut powerhouses meeting, and this was great. The acting was great. The set pieces were great. This is a really, I think that this might be one of Quentin Tarantino's biggest budget films. I'm not even going to lie. Why? Because this is very authentic, man. This is a very authentic, I'm young, but I know. This is a very authentic film from 1960s, 70s Hollywood. The 50s, the 60s, and the 70s is explored in this movie. And man, when you see the cars, when you see the freeways, the street signs, the restaurants, a lot of money. I'm paying attention to all that good stuff. The billboards, man, he was closing down streets in LA, man, and putting these retro buildings up, fixing these houses to look like they were old, man. All the car shots. I'm just thinking about what it takes for you to shut all that down and bring so many classic cars in and changing the billboards on streets. He's literally making streets look 50 years old. That's a lot of money doing that. And I feel like it's that. I'm going to say it's that. I don't know it's that, but I got to come up with some reason why this didn't feel like a really true Tarantino movie. Why I didn't have some of those epic dialogue scenes. Why those awesome directional shots weren't there. If I'm going to blame it on something, I'm going to attest it to the fact that he put a lot of attention into detail with making this movie look authentic. That he kind of probably lost focus of that script and of his normal classic direction, or maybe he just wanted to do something outside of the box that he's not normally something he not normally does. Maybe that's it. But if I'm giving my opinion based on what I saw, this is a different film for Quentin, and you could see that it took a lot. I could tell it took a lot to produce this movie. So I understand that Quentin had a lot on his shoulders here, and it's not a bad movie. This is still a very good film. It's just not a very good Quentin Tarantino film. This doesn't scratch top 3. It doesn't scratch top 5. In my opinion, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of his worst movies. But the great thing about the legend that is Quentin Tarantino is that on his worst day, he's still better than most directors in Hollywood on their best days. And one of his worst movies that he ever made, something that he shares in common with the greatest director in Hollywood, in my opinion, Christopher Nolan, is that his worst movie is still wrecking a lot of directors' best movie. And with that said, I give Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a B+. Boom. It's crazy that I had so many issues with the movie, but I loved the movie a lot because he's just that good of a filmmaker. Quentin Tarantino, I think you did a successful job here. I think you did a great job. It was just different from what you're used to. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I appreciate it. Once again, sponsors, thank you for showing love. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing, man. Deuces.